opening the door. New York's now issuing $1,000 checks to people. Anytime you have that incentive, you're going to get more and more people coming. And they have an immigration policy idea that's different than what's the laws on the books, and they'll just break the laws. That's what they're doing, and that's why we impeached Alejandro Mayorkas, because he didn't care about that co-equal branch. It's really, we have got to respond and respond quickly, not only with the equipment that we have, and I know you serve, but with also the readiness and training. We're more focused on our woke ideology and checking.
Being released en masse near San Diego. Meanwhile, back in D.C., Biden continues to pretend his hands are tied on securing the border.
We introduced a comprehensive plan to fix the system. It included funding for high-tech border security, legal pathways for dreamers, address the root causes of why so many people are fleeing to the southern border, to avoid violence, corruption, political instability, and natural disasters. And by the way, speak to your agricultural communities and ask them if they need temporary workers.
You're looking live at the Fox News flight team over Chinese migrants trying to cross the southern border illegally. Griff Jenkins is live in Jacumba, California with the latest. Griff, what are you seeing down there?
Yeah, Jackie, good morning to you. Out here in Jacumba, we're about an hour east of downtown San Diego right now. This is a very remote area that has seen an explosion of illegal crossings from Chinese migrants and Middle Eastern migrants. This is the area the cartel has been pushing them across for some reason. You can see some of them over my shoulder right now, camped out off a major interstate out here, waiting for Border Patrol to pick them up. I'll show you what it looked like out here.
Exactly, Mark. I spoke to someone who used to work in Border Patrol, and he says social media really helps demystify the process of passage into the United States, especially from the southern border. And if you take a look at CBP data right now, year to date, this fiscal year, there have been more than 18,000 encounters with Chinese nationals at the southern border. That is already way ahead of the record pace that was set last year. If you just take a look at some of the data we'll pull up for you, fiscal year 2023, there were more than 24,000 encounters at the southern border with Chinese nationals, up from 2,100 the year before and 450.
Homeland Security Committee Chairman, Congressman Mark Green. Congressman, good to see you. Thanks for being with us. I know this is an issue that
thanks for having me.
Work every day on tirelessly, and we're grateful for that. It has to be concerning for you to hear Joe Biden, and for us to hear Joe Biden, in essence, say anyone who has a concern around the world, they have an open door to come through our southern border into the U.S., which is in essence what he just said.
Now, the number of Chinese have been exploding here at the southern border. This is not normal. Take a look at this graphic right here to put it in perspective. CBP sources telling Fox in the last 4.5 months since October 1st, there have been more than 20,000 Chinese nationals encountered here at our southern border. Compare that to all of fiscal year 2021, when there were only 450 Chinese nationals encountered. That is a more than 4,000% increase in Chinese national encounters in just the last few years. And it is not just from China. Colleague Griff Jenkins caught up with a group of Syrian men out here yesterday. Take a listen.
In December of 2023, Biden released 191,000. That was 11,000 times more illegal migrants who were let loose.
I'm seeing a lot of migrants, Jason, and let me tell you, to put into perspective just how many Chinese are coming across the border, particularly in the San Diego area. In all of 2021, 450 total Chinese migrants across the entire border. This year, more than 20,000 in the last 4 months since the fiscal year began. Let me show you, though, they're not just from China. They're also from other countries like Colombia, Ecuador, Peru, Brazil, but there are an influx of Chinese migrants. In fact, I mentioned that 450 number. In the past 3 days, we've eclipsed that number of migrants. Now, these migrants here in Jacumba, 60 miles east of San Diego, are waiting to be processed. Many of them will be released, but it's the national security aspect, particularly of the Chinese migrants, that concerns the officials because of the vetting process and knowing who they are. And the fact that we have so many that are single adult males. Now, if I just spin you around here 1 second this way, Thomas, you can see they're lining up the families and the women and children that'll go first when the vans come. But the vans are overloaded because so many migrants are coming, so they have to wait hours. And in fact, some of these migrants might even have to spend the night, depending on how many vans they have. We spoke to one Chinese migrant man, though, Jason, and I asked him why exactly it is that he's come to the U.S. The answer may shock you. Listen here.
Why did you come?
Take money.
Money?
Yes.
For job?
Yes.
There's no job in China.
Maybe, I don't know.
Was a mass amnesty bill that Nancy Pelosi wouldn't even put her hands on when she was the Speaker of the House.
Yeah. You're going to get more and more people coming, and they created the mass migration wave by having those incentives. It's ridiculous. The policies that they got rid of when they got in office caused the problem.
The year before that. And this is video that NewsNation captured along the border coming up in a second here near San Diego late last year. There could be a number of reasons why this is happening. That former Border Patrol officer says that based on his experience, people are coming over because they may want to leave life in China. Often they fly through Ecuador because there's no visa requirement there, and then they make that long journey up to the Texas-Mexico border. And he says a lot of how they learn to do this is through social media.
With the highest year prior to that at 1,800. I mean, this is a massive national security threat to this country, and they don't care. They want to fundamentally change the electorate.
Last night, take a look at this video. I came out before midnight. There were dozens of these migrants from all around the world who are camping out here with fires. It's chilly out here. Again, waiting for Border Patrol to pick them up. This is right off of Interstate 8 out here in San Diego County, a main thoroughfare. There was not a single Border Patrol agent out here for hours when I was out here. All these people waiting to be picked up, some from China, some from Turkey, some from Central America. They were just waiting. Here's some of what they had to say when I talked to them. Take a listen.
Joining us now from House Foreign Affairs, California Congressman Darrell Issa. It's good to see you again, Congressman. Happy President's Day. Okay, this illegal immigration crisis, it's now moving rapidly to your home state of California. Your district includes Yacumba, California, at the border. We have like dozens of nations where migrants are coming in from, including China. What's going on there?
Well, what's going on is that we're a very desirable port of entry because you can fly into Mexico, get to Tijuana very inexpensively, and come over from a city to a city. Yacumba is pretty far out in the desert, and many of the people going through there are trying to avoid, in some cases, some of the fees and so on. But we see it all throughout the border, all the way to the ocean and all the way out to the desert. We see it, and it's over 100 nations.
They have an immigration policy idea that's different than what's the laws on the books, and they'll just break the laws. That's what they're doing, and that's why we impeached Alejandro Mayorkas, because he didn't care about that co-equal branch of government that wrote the laws. He just did his own immigration plan.
You know, as Joe Biden weakens our southern border, weakens our country, I want to pivot and switch gears to this.
We looked at this and were extremely concerned about, does anybody get this? And then from my perspective, at the Terror Screening Center, the last 3 years, you had 336, known or suspected terrorists arrested between entry points in the southern border. If you take, the past 4 years, fiscal year 17, 18, 19, and 20, you had 14. So that caused us, from my perspective, sleepless nights. So that's why we wrote the letter to Congress to say, hey, do you guys know this is going on? And this is a concern that we've got.
So Bill Maloogian is where Griff Jenkins was over the weekend. He wrote this yesterday on X, saying that in addition to the influx of Chinese, Fox encountered 3 Syrian men in Yacumba. They will receive additional screening when they are processed because Syria is designated by the U.S. as a state sponsor of terror. Okay, fine. So they are going to get screened.
Right.
What about the ones who are getting through the gotaways who we have no idea where they are?
And what's so fascinating, because we've been covering this for more than 2 years, it was a heavy surge in Texas, but it's now come out west, Arizona, and here in the San Diego sector, particularly of the 20,000 I mentioned that came here, they have had more than 90% of Chinese migrants coming to this area, particularly in Yacumba. And that is a situation they're having to deal with. Along with last week, they had more than 73 different countries. I don't know what we've got this week, but it's definitely off the charts. Jason?
Ecuador, ¿a dónde vas en los Estados Unidos?
Nueva York.
New York, going to New York. ¿De dónde son? ¿De dónde son? Costa Rica, ¿a dónde vas en los Estados Unidos?
Atlanta.
Atlanta.
New Jersey.
¿Dónde?
New Jersey.
New Jersey. ¿A dónde vas en los Estados Unidos?
Chicago.
Chicago. ¿Y de dónde son?
Colombia.
Colombia. ¿Quieren trabajar?
No.
No? ¿Asilo?
Sí, yes.
They say they want asylum, they don't want to work. ¿De dónde son? Oh, where are you from?
Senegal, Africa.
Senegal, from Senegal. We saw a lot of Senegalese in Lukeville, Arizona. Where in the U.S. do you want to go to? What city?
France. France. Speak French.
Oh, he says he speaks French. I obviously do not speak French. Watch out, Lexi. Hi, where are you from?
I'm from Dominican Republic.
Dominican Republic. ¿A dónde vas los Estados Unidos?
New York.
New York. Okay, so you get a little flavor right there, guys. They're from all around.
They know about the human trafficking. They know about, the 24,000 Chinese nationals who came in last year and over 20,000 that have come in since October 1st.
I am astonished that maybe I shouldn't be, Congressman, that he keeps talking about his plan, his initial plan. The initial idea that he introduced.
Yeah, it's about incentives, Sean. They're basically opening the door. New York's now issuing $1,000 checks to people. Anytime you have that incentive.
That's Joe Biden's policy. We're past the point of no return. This is an irreversible change in the United States that he's engineered.
Yeah, this is essentially equivalent to our National Guard. But what it really is just a continued expansion, a massive expansion of the People's Liberation Army and the armed forces in China. Their nuclear buildup.
24,000 Chinese nationals came into the country via the southwest border back in 2023. And if you do the math, that's more than 10 times higher than the year before. Stephanie Haynes joins us live. And Stephanie, border officials say one of the driving forces here is social media.
Social media, various platforms have become an enormous tool in aiding illegal aliens trying to enter the United States. Whether they're coming illegally trying to abscond or those that are surrendering at the border and claiming asylum.
Texas, now a small town near San Diego, is emerging as a hotspot for migrants from around the world who are treating the border as an open door. Bill Malusian is live in Hukumba.
Where are you guys from? Turkey. Where are you guys from? ¿De dónde son? Ecuador. Where are you guys from? China. What city in the U.S. do you want to go to?
Los Angeles.
Los Angeles. L.A.? Los Angeles, okay.
English?
So.
Why are you coming to the U.S.? Why come?
Because we love America and we need a nice style, a nice life.
Yeah, coming for jobs?
Yeah, a nice job, a nice because our country very weird.
¿A dónde vas en los Estados Unidos?
Chicago.
Chicago. ¿Y de dónde son?
Colombia.
Colombia. ¿Quieren trabajar?
No.
No? ¿Asilo?
Sí, yes.
They say they want asylum, they don't want to work. Some going to New York, some going to New Jersey. We talked to those Peruvian guys. They're going to Atlanta, to Minneapolis. So they've been released from Border Patrol custody. They are now free to travel the country. It appears an NGO group or some sort of volunteer group is now putting them on their own bus, and they're going to be going elsewhere. We'll try to talk to that NGO after this live shot if we can.
You own them. Among other things, and this is one that really gets me, existing law requires that you present legally at a port of entry in order to claim asylum. These people that are coming in, some of them looking to to turn themselves in, some rushing through to try to get in, they're all evading the border. So does this president have tools? Yes. Is he using them? No. Did the last president use every tool he had? Pretty much he did. Is it fair to say we've had an immigration problem for a long time? Yes, we've been a desirable place. But up until now, we've pushed back against unlimited amounts of people coming in. Today, we have between 8 and 15 million people that I didn't invite, but they're here.
And if you just go through some of the comparisons, in the final month that President Trump was in office, Border Patrol released 17 illegal border jumpers.
To get a weapon, because, one out of 10 of those guys crossing could have a rap sheet. Let's listen to the Bill Maher show on this. Let's hear their discussion about it. Watch this.
The sanctuary cities, the hypocrisy was exposed there because when they started to send the immigrants to those cities.
Never mind.
Chicago.
Sure, New York, sure.
Some of the most liberal people are like, oh, this doesn't work for us.
People have been coming here and gaming our system. That is true.
It's true. The people who are just above immigrants on the economic scale, they always get when immigrants come into the country. But that's
no, everybody, all taxpayers.
Not everybody.
that we haven't seen since the 1970s. Congressman, it appears that China is doing something they haven't done in a while, since the 1970s.
Is China building secret corporate militia? The video discusses the latest immigration challenges under President Biden's administration, highlighting the release of 100 illegal migrants near Santiago captured by Fox cameras. It criticizes Biden's approach to border security, emphasizing the need for a comprehensive plan, including high-tech border security and legal pathways for dreamers. The video reveals the contrast in the release of illegal migrants under Biden policies compared to the final month of President Trump's tenure. The discussion touches on national security concerns, the influx of Chinese nationals, and the potential need for mass deportations. The video concludes by underscoring the urgency of sealing the border and